To the stock market analysis, let's start with stocks that are in buy zone. So Hang Seng Index, this is futures HSI, and you can see it's in the green zone. It's very close to the second standard deviation. It came around 18,835, and now it's in the green zone. You can see how nicely it came to the sell zone here around 13th of July, and it was in the sell zone for a while. And today it came back to the buy zone. Okay, so this is a time when you should be starting to accumulate. Hang Seng Index, Chinese stocks. So let's quickly look at some of the Chinese stocks, and let's see Baba. This is one of the major components of Hang Seng Index. It came to the buy zone here, and if it dips tomorrow below 90.58, that's a good area to buy. Vidoe is also in the buy zone. MSFT is the index. This is an ETF which replicates Hang Seng Index. So you can see also it's very close to the standard deviation. And if you're Canadian, XCH is what you should be looking to buy. And also this is in the buy zone, so very good trades here. So tomorrow I'm expecting very soon a pump in Hang Seng Index. And from here, from today's close to the high here, we have almost 2% up pump, which is possible. So it's a quick trade you can take. Bitcoin is in the buy zone. You can see here it came below touched third standard deviation. It's again in the buy zone. It's around 29,781 and below. That's in the buy zone. Ethereum, actually it went a bit above buy zone, but it went below buy zone, and it's pumping now. And if you bought here, you would be in profits. Everything else is pumping right now. Natural gas was in the buy zone for last couple of days. You can see here, and it pumped, and now it's in the sell zone. Oil was in the buy zone from last couple of days. It touched here this morning. Yesterday also it was in the buy zone. Now it's going to sell zone. So I'm flat right now in my positions. I'm waiting for stocks to go back to buy zone, and before I can take any trade, let's quickly see copper. I think copper is also in the buy zone, very close to the buy zone. So tomorrow, if it dips below 3.81, I will be looking to buy copper. Let's quickly scan through anything else which is interesting here. XLU, I did a quick trade on XLU today. I bought a 3x leverage ETF, and I exited my positions, but it's still very close to the buy zone. So it came below second standard deviation. That was a good trade. And XLRE, sorry, real estate sector also came near second standard deviation and bouncing. These two were good trades today. And tech stocks, Shopify it just touched the buy zone here today. Actually, this gap is now taken, so we can get rid of this gap. So it came below first standard deviation. It just bounced after that. So anybody who took this trade from here to here, it was almost 3% up. So Shopify is bouncing. Let's see if there's anything else. Honeywell, it was in the buy zone this morning, and it's jumping now. So if it dips below 204.49 tomorrow, look to buy it. MasterCard, nothing here. Visa was in the buy zone in the morning, and now it bumped. So you can look at these levels. You can take a screenshot of this. Let's quickly look at anything else. Verizon, I was telling you guys, buy it. It fell way below second standard deviation, third standard deviation yesterday. Now it picked up, still in a very good buy zone, multiple gaps, yellow lines to the upside. So still a good trade to take. TELUS was in the buy zone this morning, and still it's same as all the telecommunication sectors. Stocks are dumping, and they're in a good buy zone right now. Let's quickly scan Walmart. Walmart came very close. Actually, a couple of days ago, it was in the buy zone. Now it's bouncing. Coca-Cola, not here. UNH, I took all the profits. I exited my positions on UNH, very nice profit. You can see went way above third standard deviation. I exited my position, so and there's a gap here. So I'll wait for UNH. There's another gap here around 484, earnings gap here on 449. So not interested in buying right now. I took profits, and I'm just waiting right now. Nothing to do here. I covered the Chinese stocks, so those are good. Let's quickly scan through any other Canadian stocks that was in buy zone. WCN, this touched the buy zone and bounced right away. And also CNI, it touched the buy zone and bounced. So this was also a good trade, whoever took it. XOM is in the buy zone. For some reason, oil was up 2%, but XOM is still down. So tomorrow could be a good good buying if now the only thing I did not buy this because oil is in the sell zone and XOM usually replicates oil, so I'm not going to be buying. I want to see both in the buy zone, oil and oil miners both in the buy zone. On a contradiction, you can see CNQ, the biggest Canadian oil miner, it was in the buy zone, just pump almost 3%. So this would have been a good trade if I or anybody who took it, but this is how it is right now. FTS, this is a Canadian utilities sector stock. So it was in the second standard deviation. Whoever bought it, it's now pumping. So it's a no trade zone. So yeah, that's about it overall for the stocks that are in buy zone. Let's quickly review futures where they are. The US 500 came very close to third standard deviation, which is SPX. Not interested in buying. I would only like to buy here in the green zone. US 100 came very close to the green zone and just pumped. Did not give me an opportunity to buy, so I was waiting, but it never happened, so not interested in buying here. Dow Jones is also very close to third standard deviation. It's a very good sell zone. US 2000, it's also in the sell zone. The inverse ETFs, which are basically quick trade, you can take very good trades on inverse ETF. For example, let's see SDOW, which is inverse Dow Jones. You can see it's below third standard deviation. This is a good trade to take like a quick profit, 1% a pump. It's possible. TSLA, which is inverse ETF for Russell 2000, also below second standard deviation. You can have a quick trade here with stops. SQQ is shorting Nasdaq. You can also see it came to third standard deviation and bouncing now. So you can see every time it's below third standard deviation, it's a good time to quickly buy it for a bounce for a quick 1 to 2% and then exit the trades. Okay, so you can do it this way. Yeah, that's about it. And then let's quickly do a quick review of the market. Let me get rid of these indicators and let me add moving averages. Let's quickly go to daily chart. Now I know so basically let's start with SPY. What's happening here is sorry, did I cover Bitcoin? Yeah, I think I did cover Bitcoin. Let's quickly start with the Bitcoin, and I'm not sure if let's quickly review Bitcoin on 1 minute chart and see if how things are there with the buy and sell indicator. Let's quickly see that here. So this is Bitcoin. You can see it came to third standard deviation. It's bouncing. Ethereum also came to second standard deviation and bouncing. If I go to daily chart, let's hide these moving averages or standard deviations. Let's bring these moving averages here. And you can see here, so going with Bitcoin, just keep an eye on this trend line. And I have this Fibonacci retracements here, but let's get rid of this one. So you can see this trend line, this white trend line, Bitcoin is holding there. And now it's coming down. It's down 1.18%. It can come here. This is the buy zone. So this starts around 28, almost 29K to below, and the perfect tag would be this tag of the line. So if it comes down Bitcoin here to touch it, that will be a good buy area. So from today's where we are now, it's like around 7% and around 2.5% for this first tag. So look to buy Bitcoin there. And yeah, still negative divergence indicators. You can see green line did not cross red line, no buy signal yet. On daily chart, Ethereum, same thing. Look to buy around this trend line. It's in this chop zone. Basically, this is a big, basically fake out up, fake down below, and then it's just like a chop zone here, trading range here. Nothing exciting happening here. So that's on Bitcoin and SPY. Let's quickly go to 1 hour chart. Are there any gaps here? No gaps here. A little bit of sell off towards the end, but that's okay. But look at the daily chart. Look at all these gaps. Okay, let me hide these indicators. You can see all these gaps. 90 to 95% of these gaps are filled. I just don't know when. Sure, it can keep going higher. I get that, but eventually we do need a pullback. Okay, I want to show you a weekly chart. You can see how parabolic this move is. You can see even in a bull market, we do need dips. Okay, you can see here when we were going higher, if I draw like from this top to here, 8% weekly dump here. Okay, from this top to bottom here, that's almost 10% dump. Okay, and then again here from here to here, around 10% dump. So from here to here, this was all in 2020, 2021, okay, 6% dump. You can see from here to here, 6% dump. Okay, so I think we're due for a pullback. So if I get a 6 to 10% pullback from today's close, it's gonna be around, so 6% is gonna be around 424, 10% would be around 408. Okay, and that will be, just keep that in mind and look at QQQ, how parabolic this is, just going straight up. So be very careful. I do expect a pullback. I just don't know when. You can see even here when we were recovering from COVID crash, we had a pullback. And even here when we had a pullback, it was QQQ 14% here. You can see here, from here, it was almost 12% here. And this one was almost 8% here. Okay, so from here, all these green lines are the gaps to fill. So if we go down on QQQ from here, so around 10% is an average, so around 343. This purple line, which I marked it yesterday, around 13.5%. That's a good area. So lock your profits here. Don't get too excited. I know we are going higher. We keep going higher and higher, but you can see what's happening. We are going higher on a divergence on daily, and even PPO is RSI is also having a negative momentum. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Let me get rid of this. So yeah, so going higher, but be very, very careful on SPY and triple Q. So that's on that. Dow Jones, did it close this gap? Yeah, it did close this gap, so I can get rid of this. This was a previous gap here, so it's gone now, so I don't see any gaps. 1 hour chart. Now there are gaps here, my gap here, so it looks like we should be ready. Looks like we fulfilled all the targets, so I really want a little bit of pullback here before we can go higher. So let's quickly draw an arrow. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it makes sense to have a little bit of pullback. Okay, IWM going higher as well, and looks like this gap is still not filled, but it will be filled eventually. I just don't know when. And also keep an eye on this trend line. So that's on Russell 2000. And let's look at Hang Seng Index and daily chart. Looks like a big flag. If I go to weekly, you can see this could be a big flag, and then if it breaks out, there are multiple bad newses, but Chinese government is trying to stimulate their economy. They're lowering interest rates, and so from today's close, if we get this breakout, let's see, from today's close, we can go as up as 44% in the long term. Okay, so be very, very careful here to short this. This is not the time to short. I think this is a good time to accumulate, like I showed you in my indicator. This looks pretty good as a buying opportunity right now. It is below most of the SMA lines, but this is the time you want to accumulate. Oil, basically in the chop zone, not chop zone, sorry, it's in the middle of, it did not come to the buy zone. So this came as a support. This was a big resistance, this red line. Now it came back test, now going higher. So it's stuck between this support now and this two lines, which is to dark and light blue line, which are 200 EMA and SMA lines. So oil really needs to break out, or if not, then it can come all the way down to below. Okay, this could be a lower high before going down. I don't know yet. So it's in the middle of no trade zone, so be mindful, it can come all the way down. Natural gas is pumping. You can see yesterday it held this support very, very nicely. I told you it's very good that it's holding this 50 daily SMA line. So, and also it's on this trend line, so looking for a pump from here. So natural gas is looking good. Gold, it is in the perfect sell zone. I was expecting a little bit of weakness, but looks like they're pumping now, so I don't know what's happening, but looks like there's a gap here, so I'm expecting a pullback before going higher. But let's see, are we done with this pullback? I don't know yet, but let's see if we get another pullback or not. Silver is doing same as gold, so we'll see if we get a pullback. Already covered crypto. Bonds already bottomed here, so looking for a little bit pullback. Buy into that pullback before we go higher. Dollar looks like it's forming a lower. It should be forming a lower high before going lower again. So basically looking for a little bit of pump. And if indexes, all the indices, so earnings season is starting tomorrow. But I think Tesla and Netflix are reporting earnings. So if there's a sell-off, I could see dollar going higher, and then basically later on, stocks will basically go high, and then dollar should pull back. Copper was in the buy zone, very close to the buy zone. It came this daily chart in the buy zone, looking for a pump. Palladium, let's see, it's now breaking out of this wedge, so this is a very good sign. You can see bullish falling wedge, now it's breaking out. This is the first candle, very good sign for Palladium. Corn up 5%, looks like it's a perfect opportunity to short. This is a big resistance, it was support here, so it needs to fail here. You can see this arrow here. Let's see if it holds it or if it goes down. If it recovers, then it's a good sign. Wheat again broke out, back tested it, and now it's going higher, so everything is looking good. Soybeans in the buy zone, and now it's going higher. You can see yesterday it touched it, this morning it touched it, now it's going higher. Sugar basically trying for a rejection. Let's see if it comes back to this trend line, then that's a positive sign. And I covered all these other GDX gold miners will do same as gold. Only issue is actually this gap is also filled, so we can get rid of this. There are multiple gaps to the downside, so let's see if I think it's possible we need a little bit of pullback before going higher. So let's quickly draw this path here. So that will be an ideal scenario for me. So XLE, this is health. This is energy sector, and it's 1% up. But the issue is oil is up, so this is good. But if oil goes down, then there's this big gap here. I'm looking for that gap to fill. XLV. Basically looking good because UNH is pumping and there's still a gap here. It could go higher, and the only issue is there's a gap here at the bottom, so it is going higher. That's a good sign for healthcare sector. It's been like uh, basically towards the downside for a while, but now it's pumping, so this could be the start. But if we start getting some weakness, I would be looking for a little bit of pullback. So if we get a pullback from here, hopefully this gap will be filled before we go higher. So buy the dip. XLU was in a buy range I showed you, came very close to this trend line. Any touches of this trend line, anything going lower, look to buy it. It's a great time to buy. Let's go to 1 hour chart, see if it gaps is filled. This gap is filled, so you can get rid of this. And XLV, I don't see any gaps, so that's good. And XLI is also pumping higher, and still not a lot of gaps on XLI, but looking for this eventually some weakness. It's going to be by the dip. XLRE, again the projection is same, showing same. If rates are going higher, stocks should go down, but looking for basically if it gets more weakness, look to buy off this trend line. XLF, let's go to 1 hour chart. The only issue is this gap here, which I don't like. It's pumping because bank earnings are good, but eventually I'm looking for this weakness before it goes higher. So let's see if we can get a little bit of more weakness and then go higher. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we'll wait for this chart to be filled for a longer time. We'll see. But just be mindful of all these gaps which are there. Tesla, another high. Another high, that's okay. Tomorrow is earnings, so we will see how earnings are doing. See all these gaps to the downside, so be very careful. Apple, again, I think another high or equal high could this be a double top? This is possible, but I'm not interested in buying any tech stocks. They're too high for me. Google, multiple gaps here to the downside, and let me hide these SMA lines so that it's more clear to you. You can see all these gaps to the downside. Microsoft is pumping due to this AI news, but again, it's on divergence. You can see divergence on PP and RSI. So this means this pump should fail. So sorry. So all these mega caps, all these stocks are waiting for earnings, and next setup will be based on earnings. So we'll see. It's ideal to take profits, lock your profits, and then just sit and relax and see how things are doing. Amazon, this gap is filled. You can see how these gaps eventually gets filled. Meta, I don't see any gap right now nearby. So, but Amazon, so that gap was filled, and then you can see all these gaps to the downside. Netflix, another 5% up. We'll see how earnings are, and that will decide next step. So again, going higher on divergence, and must be some news here which is going higher. I'm not sure, something to do with Hollywood. Snowflakes, another gap here. NVDA, another high, almost new high. But look at all these gaps to the downside. AMD hanging in there, but there's a gap here. And yeah, I think that's about it mostly. UNH was a good trade, like I told you before. The only issue is this gaps here. There's a gap here. There's a gap here. So I'm looking for a little bit of pullback before it goes higher. Pfizer is still very good, just consolidating, making a solid base. Earnings are here. on August 1st. So it could just stay here, make a base before it pumps higher. All right. Okay, guys, that's it for today. And if you're still here, if you like the content, please hit the like button before you leave and share with your friends and family. If you want to subscribe to this channel, there's a join button link, and I will be posting more videos to private members, giving you intraday buy and sell zones, so you know what trades you can take. Also, you can ask me for recommendation on the stocks, your stocks which you like. I can give buy and sell zones for those as well. Okay, guys. All right. Have a good day, guys, and I wish you a happy trading and have a great afternoon. Bye.